Okay, with the creative team of fighters, 4 minute sci-fi film played the Sci-Fi Fantasy Film Festival. Sam Hall is the director, and Nick Murphy is the producer. And this is a really, really cool film. And I got to ask you guys, how did you do it? How was
Magic.
it done?
I mean, like on a technical level, or
Yeah, like how was like was it is it AI? Is it like
oh, no, 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 it's all Blender.
okay,
Uh, Combination of Blender for animation and lighting, and Nuke for compositing.
Yeah, so all storyboarded through Blender
okay.
from Sam's brain. And you know, we kind of talked about some shots and talked about story a little bit, and very like loose kind of things. It was kind of like we started right in the middle, right? We started with like
Yeah, so the whole thing, it started from one shot. There's a shot in the middle of the movie with the fighter taking off from the hangar.
Yeah.
It started with just that, with just one fighter by itself. And then I thought, oh, it'd be cool if there were more. And I started thinking about like, well, where are they going? And so I just did the next shot, which was just like the fighter on the outside, and then kind of just built it in both directions from where I thought like, okay, they're gonna go save somebody from something. What is that? And just kept adding things to it. So over the course of 2 years, it became I think within the first 6 months we had an actual, like an idea of what the whole thing was. And then I just had to figure out how to do it.
So did you like was the, you so you're kind of saying that you almost like there wasn't a script written when you started?
No, 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 not at all. Yeah,
no.
it was
Okay.
most of it, like the more complex sequences were mostly just like I came up with them largely while running. I would go running and listen to music, and the thing would just play in my head, and then I would just sort of replay it over and over again in my head until I'd kind of memorized it, and then I'd start committing it to shots. And then Nick and I would discuss it, and you know, some things would work, some things wouldn't as they were in my head. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of just like evolved very visually. It just kind of like it would be we'd be discussing like a shot of what each sequence would take us to different, to different places in space, and how to define those visually to give them different like looks and different aspects and stuff, and
Yeah.
different tonally how each like section would feel. Yeah, it kind of like grew organically, like right from the middle, just kind of like out.
So obviously there's a like a tribute or like a familiarity to Star Wars, I guess, right?
Oh God, yeah,
Yeah, big time.
yeah. I mean,
I
that's
mean, we're big. That's like
Yeah.
the jumping off point for our
Yeah.
friendship and our working relationship. Is going on 20 years now at this point. Um, yeah, definitely like the Star Wars shorthand is very present.
yeah.
I,
And our previous collaboration was a Star Wars short.
like a
So
fan film.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like
that's
to see that. Is that anywhere?
yeah, that's on YouTube. It's called the Lost Starfighter.
Yeah.
How'd it do?
I did good. Yeah, I think we did great. We did great visually. We kind of wanted to take it. We wanted to have like a little more like fun with it.
Yeah.
So it's very like kind of silly, but still has like action and stuff. So it was a really fun like way to do that. And then this fighters kind of came from that, where it was like, all right, well, what if we had no actors and it was just telling a story mostly, through visuals with, not a lot lot of people.
Yeah.
And music. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I know
Everything.
these fan films, the the Star Wars fans can get a little finicky about the like fan films, I guess, right? They can get a little judgmental, right?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, totally. But I think we nailed the visual language right off the bat,
Yeah.
and then carried that over into this film.
Okay,
Yeah.
so ironically enough, your film is more like the first film, like the fourth film, but the first film that was made in Star Wars, like the last 20 minutes, right? Even some of the shots is like almost frame to frame.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've thought
yeah,
about making like a little like cut of it where I put the shots that
Yeah.
inspired each shot next to them, because
Yeah.
there are definitely like direct, and sometimes I didn't know it until later where I would be like,
yeah,
oh, that's where I got that idea. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
but there
yeah.
are shots where I did that intentionally. There's at least one in the end that's like directly taken from episode one, where you sort of follow the fighter, like you kind of pan down around it when you're down on the planet there. But
Yeah, there's like that pod race section, and then we talked about there's like that one Michael Bay shot where it's just like they kind of come across this like super
Oh
telephoto
yeah, yeah,
lens.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
a Black Hawk Down. It's the Black Hawk
Yes.
Down shot of like the helicopters kind of stacked up in a
Yeah.
little telephoto way, and they do it in Dune and Battlestar Galactica. Battlestar Galactica also, I cannot
Big. Yeah.
ignore the influence of that on this. It's heavily influenced by that handheld sort of frantic style.
So it's a 4 minute film, but it just flies right by. It's like so quick. And it's like it's set up that we want to watch it again, right?
That
Oh
was, yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
definitely, yeah. There's tons of details that are in each shot and each frame that you can pick up on or not. Like you don't need to go and look at all that stuff. I hope it makes sense in one viewing. But you can definitely pick more up on each viewing.
It definitely has like a heart racing feeling throughout the entire thing. You're kind of like,
Yeah,
how is this going to get resolved? And then when it finally does, it kind of ends in this, like this breath of just like, oh, all right, fine, we got through it.
yeah. And the lasers are purple, right?
The like bad guy
Green and
lasers,
purple. Yeah,
yeah, they're like, yeah, the bad guy lasers are like kind of a magenta, and the good guy ones. So, in when we were making it, like we had very like primitive terms for everything. I was like, we got good guys and bad guys.
yeah. Well, that's Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Of course, there's nuance in the Star Wars where, like, even though Darth Vader kills millions of people, he's supposed to be a good guy in the end. I don't know.
Right, right, right.
And then Han Solo's son the same way, but
Yeah.
I don't know how that's logical. Anyways, that's a whole other.
Yeah, I guess we're just glad that like some like character came through.
Yeah,
Like there's that little like probe kind of like droid, and he has like so much character like right off the bat. That just like kind of comes through, and I think Sam did a great job like using him to tell a story and like get some emotion out.
yeah. So okay, so then you said that you referenced it was 2 years. It took you like I'm sure you didn't do it consecutively 2 years, but this is a 2 year process.
Yeah, I mean, it was, in spare time. And then there'd be maybe weeks that would go by where I wouldn't touch it or look at it, or sometimes intentionally because I'm just like, I need to stop thinking about this for a little while and
Yeah,
come back to it a little more fresh.
And the evolution of just the sequences. We would work on one sequence, and I think Sam, you would get tired of it or frustrated with it, and I would just be like, well, let's just jump to like a big action part, and then we'll figure out a way to connect these two through a couple more shots and a couple more sequences, and we'll just kind of make that bridge happen. But like, let's just like pause and like get re-excited about the process and the creativity from it.
yeah. So let's talk about the sound and the music. So it looks like in the credits, it's all you guys, and then you gave somebody a music credit. Where did you get the music?
Yeah, that's licensed music from
Oh yeah,
uh what is that called? 12 Titans. Uh
gotcha.
yeah. That you can like do like micro licensing on it, so it's not like crazy expensive the way normal music is. But they're on Spotify, so that's what helped me with the process. I would hear it on there, and I could just go and buy that music and then use it. I considered doing the music myself because I've done that before, but that's just like it would take another year probably for me to do that.
But you did the sound design though.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean it's
yeah,
all like stock sound. I didn't like
No, but
record.
you created the sound design, like you put it all
yeah,
together, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
That was probably not. I wouldn't. It wasn't my favorite part of the process. Like it was a bit. That was probably the most grueling part. It
I'm
wasn't
sure
like
it was.
horrible.
It's not easy, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't come naturally to me. Like my thinking is all entirely visual and musical. So sound design was kind of like it was kind of a new thing for me to really dig into that deeply.
But like, yeah, like the storytelling elements come through in that, in a great way through the film. Yeah, really just like, we would watch it silent for so long. And then once like we started putting those sounds in, it was really like, oh man, it's like a whole nother level to the film that we hadn't experienced before.
Yeah, I did want to hold back for a long time, actually putting in music and especially so sound was like the very end of the process, but music too, I held back. I kind of hate temp music because you kind of it locks you into how that music works, and it also I tend to get sick of it. And I didn't
Yeah.
really want to get to that point. I wanted it to still be kind of fresh.
Would you, I know, because I know you're working on another film about space. Would you consider bringing in a sound designer?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah, that'd
would
be great. Yeah.
I would love to bring in as many people as I could because honestly, like it's so daunting thinking about I had these ideas about a follow-up to this in the same world, but it having to do everything myself
Yeah.
is just it's exhausting. And it would be nice to have other people who could do a few things here and there.
Well, the thing about you, Sam, is that you have, like, you know the language, you've done it.
Yeah.
So your collaboration could be really profound because you know exactly what needs to be done. So if you're collaborating with someone who's doing all the grind work, right? The grinded out work, it's like there could be a beautiful collaboration. That's why I was suggesting it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. It
that'd be
absolutely could
incredible.
be. Even though I get a lot of satisfaction out of more of the grind work, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, I would very much welcome
All
that.
right. So, Nick, where did you guys meet? Where did you meet Sam?
Sam and I met in film school in 2004.
Four, maybe?
Yeah, 4 or 5,
Okay.
coming up on 20 years. And then we've been working together, since then. I mean, we worked on projects in school together, and then professionally after the fact, we did uh I wrote and directed some shorts, and Sam was there helping us, whether it be filming, doing visual effects. Yeah, so we've been collaborating together for 20 years at this point. So like all of this is just like a shorthand, and we just
Gotcha.
have like a great working relationship with all of this stuff.
Any arguments or like conflicts in the relationship in 20 years?
Oh
Not
yeah,
that,
I mean there's
yeah.
a period of years where we weren't really interacting much, probably almost 10 years, right?
Yeah, we took a little break. I think we kind of got like focused on establishing our careers and
Yeah.
just kind of fell off through, not any, falling out or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then we reconnected and then just like jumped right back in. Yeah,
Yeah, we
it's been
kind of
great.
decided like, all right, let's stop putting off. Like I kept thinking, oh, one day we'll do something again together, and
Yeah.
But then I was like, fuck it, we're gonna do it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's been really nice to, probably within the past like 10 years or so, like we got back in just being creative together and just having, I don't know, just enjoying each other's creativity. We really took like that time to focus on our careers, and then really got back to be like, oh man, we really had this like magical heyday where we were just thinking and making films and being creative all the time. Let's get back to that. And that's where a lot of these projects are really coming out of, trying to rekindle that. Um, but now we just have like, 20 extra years of experience under our belt, and then we can do
Yeah.
it all now.
So you guys both in based in New York?
Sam's in New York. I'm in Philadelphia.
Oh,
yeah.
Philadelphia. Well, congratulations on the Super Bowl.
Go
Thanks.
Birds.
Yeah, go Birds. Yeah, it was yeah, we had our parade yesterday. It was great. It's been a great time to be a
This
Philadelphian.
time last week, I was talking to a screenwriter. I was doing a podcast with a screenwriter, and he basically said that, like, he's from Philadelphia, and he basically
Yeah.
didn't had no confidence in the win. And I said on a podcast, I said, documented, I go, I got a funny feeling about Philly tomorrow.
Yeah.
And but I hate this Chiefs because I'm a Bills fan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We
Right.
actually
So
we were hoping we would get you guys, but yeah.
so it was just like
Yeah.
basically
I,
so
honestly, I think we were all just like, I can't believe it. Like it was one of those things where I think everyone was excited, and we were like, I think we got a good team this year,
I think
and
yeah.
nobody.
I had
Yeah,
a
and it just
funny feeling. I just had a weird feeling about that team because they know the Chiefs are beatable. Anyways,
yeah,
so
totally.
so you
No,
guys,
I lived in Philly for a long time. Up
We
until about
did, yeah.
2018, I moved to New York.
all right,
So we were practically neighbors for many years.
Yeah, definitely.
but where'd you guys grow up?
Right
Just
outside of
outside of Philly.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
Oh,
the
so you're both
suburbs.
from okay, so you're both
Yeah.
from Philly,
Yes,
basically.
yeah, more or less, yeah.
Yeah, I can slip into the accent anytime if I want.
Gotcha. So we're like, so what do you guys work in the industry?
Yeah, Sam does visual
Yeah,
effects.
yeah. I work as a compositor, mostly on like episodic TV stuff. Um,
Gotcha.
And then I direct and edit and write and produce all the multi-hyphenate things. Um, yeah, all kinds of stuff. It's crazy.
And then you guys kind of are doing these kind of like passion projects, quote unquote, on the side.
yeah,
Yes, yeah. Yep.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, you can see the professionalism. That's what I was asking. You see the professionalism in the film, right? So,
I
and then
appreciate it.
and
Yeah,
then Sam wrote down production budget on Film Freeway 0.
yeah, more
Yeah,
or
there was
less.
no real budget. It
No.
was
Yeah,
if there's any money spent, I mean, stuff like music licensing, but it wasn't that crazy.
Yeah.
And
We were kind of just like, we'll just split it and figure it out. And
yeah,
yeah,
the only things we spent money on were also like
some
models.
models.
I would
Yeah.
buy like a model on Turbo Squid or something, but it wasn't like we had like a set amount. We just kind of did what we had to as we went along. And I never spent that much. I mean,
Yeah.
if there was any amount, if the total amount of money spent, I don't know, a few $100. I mean,
Yeah.
gotcha. And then Sam on the blog interview, we asked him when he realized he wanted to make films, and he's the first one in thousands of interviews. Thousands of people have been asked this question, so it's not even an exaggeration. And he gives a specific date,
yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
May 19th, 1999, and I actually had to Google it and see what. And then of course that was like the first the prequel movies that came out, right? The
Yeah.
George Lucas
Yeah.
prequels.
Yeah. I was 15 at that time.
Yeah.
I was old enough and had enough understanding of the filmmaking process, just a little bit. And
Yeah.
there was a lot of material coming out about how it was made. So when I saw that and I kind of understood how these things were put together, I was just like, I have to do something like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, all of those things were like so formative for us. I mean, when we were in college, we would spend, you know, an entire day watching like the Lord of the Rings, like appendices and like all
Yeah.
those. Those were like an additional film school to like the school we were like getting already. It was, we watched, I mean, we could probably quote like half of the behind the scenes and making ofs of all the Star Wars and, and all the Lord of the Rings movies and stuff.
Yeah, I'm as much a fan of the process of how those things were made as I am of the result.
Sure. That's like the DVD era where like
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
director's
big time.
commentary and like behind the scenes kind of after
Yeah.
like where are those now? I guess they're on YouTube or
Maybe
Sometimes, yeah.
the 4K Blu-rays still have it's never as extensive as it was
yeah.
before.
Yeah.
You'll never get anything as good as like the Lord of the Rings extended DVDs when you have like 8 hours of documentaries per movie.
Yeah. They were
Uh,
incredible.
I go back to
I
that once a year.
Oh, they're so good. They still hold up. I mean, like when I was in college and stuff, I would rip the DVD director commentaries to an iPod and listen to them on like my ride into school and
Yeah.
stuff.
But
Um, but yeah, like now, I mean, nowadays they're kind of there. Some people are still doing them, which is great. Um, Actually, like the newest Deadpool movie has a commentary, and they don't go like super deep, but they talk, creatively about story and process, which is really nice. So any of that, anything that's like, I don't know, hearing other people talk about being creative is really inspirational, I think, to both of us. And I think for people out there, if you're listening to this too, I'm sure it is for your listeners as well.
yeah. So when you guys like it's so funny because when I went to film school, I came from the Tarantino like Pulp Fiction era, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So everybody was like, I was 19 when that film came out. So you go into film school and everybody's like, Reservoir Dogs,
yeah.
Pulp Fiction, let's kill some people. Like I'm doing,
Right.
Oh, we've done a ton of that.
Yeah, we did that. That was very, very much in our career
but
too.
it seems
Yeah.
like you guys have like from the fantasy sci-fi, you got Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, and you're in that ring. But I don't know.
I
I
mean, we
think
are
for
now,
us,
but
yeah, I think for us, we were kind of coming up. I'm sure you guys, when we were in school, we shot 16 millimeter film,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
DV was like the king right there. And I think for us, we were actually just talking about this today. Like we were so trying to like push that medium at like as far as we could to try to get 24 frames a second, to try to get shallow depth of field, to try to get all of these things to make it look like film. And now we were like, we should have just been shooting film the entire time. We would have gotten like so much more from it.
I mean, we were too
Um,
broke to do that at the
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
time.
That's what
yeah,
I'm
that's
saying,
true.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, for us, it was like just trying to like push those kind of boundaries and try to like emulate like that next level for us. That was like a real focus for us. Um, I feel like in that era, everybody was just trying to like, we have these cameras, we can do these things. If we could just like push it up to get like
right.
to
Yeah,
make our stuff like shine a little bit more,
yeah.
you know?
So you guys would start in 2004.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, that's
So
when we started together. I mean, I think we both started making our own shorts before that. The first thing I did was in 2001.
okay,
yeah, yeah. And I don't know, probably like 99, 2000. I mean, I had a camera and we were filming, filming my friends do dumb jackass things, but then cutting it together with like two VCRs, like
yeah, yeah,
VHS to
totally, yeah,
VHS,
yeah,
like
yeah.
just trying to like make it happen. And then, that mini DV explosion kind of like changed the game for
I was gonna
us.
say because you guys came in a golden time
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Because we
where
got to do
I
both. We got to have the experience doing 16 millimeter
yeah,
and DV at the kind of at the same time. And
yeah.
we just had to kind of pick which one we wanted to do. And we went with DV because we didn't have any money.
we're cheap. Yeah, exactly.
No, because I remember working at a film co-op in Toronto, and it was like everybody was shooting on film, and then like 2004, 2005, it was like these $10,000 short film budgets became less than $1,000
Yeah,
Yeah.
because everybody was shooting on a PD 150s.
yep,
I'm like going back, and then you can use a lens, like kind of like a film lens,
yeah.
Oh,
right?
those adapters,
Oh yeah, I
Adapters,
had
yeah.
that.
the
That
ground
was great.
glass.
I
Oh my
shot
God.
like Bravo films like that, right? Like
Yeah,
those. So basically, but yeah, so then that was like the golden era, and all of a sudden it's like, wait, and then YouTube, of course, right? And then everybody's
yeah,
like, oh, wait a minute, and then everybody's a filmmaker, right? So
yeah. I mean,
even
it's
if they're
crazy
good
now.
filmmakers, it's just everybody's a filmmaker.
Yeah, I mean, it really like you're right. We kind of got in. I almost feel like not to blow up to like a bigger conversation, but like I am us and probably your generation too is kind of like social media wise. We came up at a time where we were trying to like emulate and get like to the next level, but like when we were dumb and young, like none of
Yeah,
that is available. We kind of like lived in both worlds. We lived in
yeah,
the analog world and we've lived in this digital world at this point.
yeah, yeah. You're at the cusp. You're right at the cusp, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we
And I'm
did
holding
like,
on hard to the analog. Like I
Yeah,
still shoot film whenever I can. I
yeah.
shoot Super 8 from time to time and I still shoots stills on film constantly.
yeah. But you finish on digital, all
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inevitable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unavoidable. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're like at the cusp for like, yeah, you guys are like Generation X, I guess, right? So, but at the tail end of it,
We're
or
like in
Yeah.
the
you're in
border of like
between.
Generation X
X
and
and Y
millennial.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you said you're 15, so you're 1984. So yeah,
Yeah.
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 And
And feeling like that too, like probably all throughout our life, we're like not Gen X, but like not really
yeah,
millennials.
you're
We're
in the
kind of like,
middle. Yeah,
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 really like in a
I
weird
remember the
void.
old world.
Yeah. Writing papers with encyclopedias and stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
totally.
No, it is interesting because it's like you. I was talking about this like last week, where and I interview a lot of people who have no understanding of the world without social media, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
I still very
Yeah.
much live without social media. Like I very almost none. I have no like personal use of it
yeah.
because I just never I don't like it.
Yeah. It doesn't feel nice to like to make art and do creative things, but like have like a business side or like a promotional side. It feels gross and it stinks that like that's the world we live in now where you can't just, be creative and make art for the sake of art. You have to like figure out how to market it all the time. It's just
But at the
not
same
fun.
time, I think it was. I think it's always been like that. So
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
Social media does tend to kind of make people make things for the sake of
of course,
serving
yeah.
what social media wants. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's yeah, but it's like, but then I'd say there's always versions of that to a certain extent, right? So
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there is. You're right. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't be so hard on it.
it's just that no, because it also makes people create. Like it's like
Yeah.
it's just people. I know it's sort of like they're trying to touch the kind of like the algorithm that matches, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's like there's good and bad with everything,
Yeah.
right?
But I mean,
So
technology is like a good democratizer. I mean, I think we said it too when we were coming up was like mini DV was like I don't know, it made filmmaking accessible for everybody the same way that phones and social media makes all of that, accessible for everyone now. I guess it's like the same thing. It's cyclical and it's going to keep happening that way.
all right, so you guys are working on another film right now?
Yeah, we have a few things. The sort of Fighters 2, if you want to call it that. I've had I was gonna move right straight into that, at the end of Fighters. It was like the next day I started putting together shots, and then I was like, hold on a minute, I need to step back from this and really figure out what it is I want to do and try to improve every aspect of it so that when I come into it next time, it's little things like lighting and texture details. I want to just make sure things are a little more dialed in. And then I have this other thing I want to do that's more about it's slower. It's sort of if Fighters is Star Wars, then the other thing is sort of like 2001. It's much more about like the beauty of space and exploration.
Yeah.
Yeah, we keep talking about live action things. We keep talking about trying
Oh,
to
we
get
did a
together
48
to.
hour film
Yeah, we
last
did.
summer.
Yeah, that was
So
fun over the
yeah,
summer. Yeah, we did a 48-hour film. That was intense. Really like enjoyable process. And I think we'll do it again next. It was nice because we did them in school before, and we were like, well, let's just jump right in and do that. So we made a really fun little film. It was just like, one or two locations, one actor. Yeah, turned out
one
really
big
good.
visual effect.
Yeah, yeah, it turned out
A
great.
dragon.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. Well, it seems like you guys are doing the right things. It's that trying to find that balance, right? Where
Yeah,
you working for the corporate industry, right? So
yeah,
yeah, there
100%.
there's a DP that I interviewed. He called it corporate creativity, right? You
Yes.
have to when you're working for the man, right? So
It's true. Like when you're young, you have like the creative bucket is like full and infinite. And then, if you're lucky enough to figure out a way to turn your creativity into money, sometimes there's like less in that bucket left for the things that you want to do because you
yeah,
spend all the creative energy on the work things.
Although I will
But yeah,
say, I
yeah,
realized recently that doing the sort of corporate work sometimes actually inspires me more
yeah.
than like if I have time where I'm not working, I tend to be less productive than when I am, which is kind of backward.
yeah, you're trying to like squeeze it in. That's great.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's when I'm in that mode of being productive, it just
100%. Yeah,
leads out to everything else.
yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense because you're kind of like emotional and physical juices are flowing in that on a productive level, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Plus, I see things that I do at work where I sometimes go like, well, I would have done this with that, so I'm just gonna go do that, you know?
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Just
Yeah.
bank that.
You see that a lot?
Yeah, or it's just like it's like, well, I didn't get to do this quite because it's never really up to me how these things are supposed to look. As a compositor, I'm sort of I'm carrying out the vision of someone else,
Yep.
and so sometimes there are shots I do where I think, well, this looks great. I think this is the best way this can look, but it's not what they want, and so I kind of take some element of even if it's have nothing to do with the actual thing I worked on. It's sort of just like, well, now I want to do something my way, just to satisfy myself. Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's related to that or not.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, I want to see your next film and send me the link to your fan film. I'm
Yeah.
curious to see it because you
Sure.
guys obviously know what you're doing. So,
I appreciate that.
and
Yeah, I
Good to know.
mean, we're just having a blast just making stuff. That's really all it boils down to.
it's a great film. It's like wherever film some festival you want to submit it to, it should get in. Like from my experience, like
Oh man, that's great
a
to hear.
no-brainer film. So I don't know like what your motivation is for this film, but
My motivation was only ever to make it. Like I
Yeah.
kind of had to make it.
yeah,
It was playing in my head so incessantly that if I didn't make it, I'd probably go insane. So
yeah,
once was able to get it out, it was deeply satisfying. And even submitting it to festivals took me a little while because I was kind of like, no, I'm done. I finished it. I'm happy with it. But then I started thinking, well, maybe I guess I could show it to more people, you know?
Yeah.
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 It's gotta evolve, right? It's
Yeah.
like a relationship. It's like you get them in the bed, and then it's like, wait, this could be something, and you want it to.
Yeah.
Sorry for
Yeah.
getting crude, but
No,
basically,
no, that's a good
Funny.
analogy for it. Yeah.
yeah. And so because now you're evolving it, you have to evolve it, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the more people seeing it, the better. That makes it's a great yeah, Sam shared like the viewer feedback that you guys sent over. And I was like, that's incredible. I've never had a festival like do that before. It's really cool and it really just like, it's one thing to see like comments and be like, oh, this is great, and then you just,
yeah,
part of your brain just kind of shuts it off and you're like, those people I don't know. I don't even know if they're real. But then to like actually see people and hear them connect with it, it was really cool. It really was inspirational to like we're doing a good thing. We're making good creative things.
100%. All right, guys. On that note, love your film, and basically, well, let's touch base and hopefully we'll talk when you make your next film.
All
Appreciate
right.
it. Thanks for
Great.
having us.
Thanks.
Thanks.